Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittany, aka minnie.gee, and guess what? Actually, the title says it all, and I am the happiest person in the world. I am baby bump free, and I'm gonna tell you guys all about it. Yeah, where do I start? So, okay, I apologize. My baby is almost 2 months. He will be 2 months on the 15th of this month, which is June. He was born April 15th, and I know I promised everybody a labor and delivery story like right after, but let me tell you, until you've had a baby, you do not know that the first few weeks with a newborn are ridiculous. And I know I was supposed to record one like as soon as possible, like a video as soon as possible, but please, girl, what was I thinking? I wasn't thinking actually, and that was literally impossible. So I'm here to record it today. So just jumping right into my labor and delivery story. Starting at 36 weeks, I don't know if you guys know, but starting at, I think it was, yeah, 36 weeks, a pregnant woman is supposed to see her OB weekly, because, you know, it's getting close to time to deliver and you need to make sure everything is okay. We'll make sure that baby is okay, right? So I'm getting, you know, I'm into my 39th week, and this was like a Friday, and I was like, okay, I had to go to my appointment. My appointment was at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, okay, since this time is dwindling down, I'm gonna go to my appointment, get checked to see if I'm dilated, and then leave and clean my apartment, go shopping a little bit, and just handle some business or whatever, because I only had 1 more week left until I was 40 weeks, okay? I get to my appointment, I see my doctor. She thinks I'm crazy. She thinks I'm just psychotic because I ask too many questions and I'm always freaking out. So she goes in there. Well, her nurse checks my blood pressure first, okay? And my blood pressure is high. It's never been high my entire pregnancy. And I'm like, well, that's strange. Whatever. Oh, well, just let me get out of here, okay? No. Her nurse tells her. She goes in, she comes into my room, and she's like, Brittany, I'm gonna check your blood pressure one more time, but if it's high again, I'm gonna send you to the labor and delivery floor, because my gynecologist office is inside a hospital. So I'm like, go ahead and check it. It's not high. I was just, you know, it's only high because I just came in the office, right? Because I was running late. She checks it again. It's high again. You have got to be kidding me. She saw the fear in my eyes, and she was like, Brittany, I'm sorry, but I have to send you up because we're so close to the 40-week mark. I just want to be safe than sorry. And I'm like, well, girl, just send me home. Let me calm down, something. I cannot go up there. I'm not mentally ready. I have so many things to do. I didn't even have my hospital bag with me, which is a mistake on my part. Anytime you're close to delivering, always carry your hospital bag with you, no matter what. I didn't have mine, and I was just freaking out. My phone was like on 40-something%. Like, how am I gonna go check myself in and I have only 40-something% battery? Like, who am I gonna talk to? Who am I gonna text and stuff? You know, dumb things, right? So I'm freaking out, and she's like, Brittany, I'm gonna send you up there in about 30 minutes. I'm gonna go check on you to make sure everything is okay. I need you to check into triage. I'm like, just great. So I immediately call my mom, because I'm a mom's girl and I'm spoiled and I'm like a big crybaby, okay? So I call my mom. I'm like, Mommy, this lady just told me I have to sign in. She says that I'm gonna have this baby this weekend. What am I supposed to do? And I was in tears, crying. I was about to pee my pants. Like, I was just freaking out, okay? So as I'm walking to the labor and delivery floor, my mom is trying to calm me down while she's trying to calm herself down, because she's freaking out. This is her first grandchild and I'm her only daughter. So she's trying to figure out what she's gonna do. She, you know, got off the phone with me to call my grandma because they were gonna travel up here to Maryland. So as soon as she gets off the phone with me, I call my boyfriend, and my boyfriend is freaking out, and you know, we're just freaking out on the phone together. And I go sign myself into labor and delivery, and my blood pressure is still high up there. And I'm like, what is going on? It's never been high before like this. And the nurse that checked me in, she was like, you know, this is kind of normal around this time, because you know, 9 times out of 10 the baby is just ready and it's just your time to deliver this baby. So I'm like, okay. I try to fall asleep in triage, but the triage area, it's like kind of cold. It's not really a room. It has like a little curtain to divide you and separate you from everyone. So, you know, I did the best that I could. And then they send me to a room that I guess they put, you know, the women in, I guess to prepare them for, or to, I don't know what type of room it was. It wasn't my labor and delivery room. But I get in there, she tells me to change, and I put on the gown. My boyfriend comes, he calms me down, and my nurse, she was so sweet. She's like, Brittany, I'm gonna start you on Cytotec, which is this tiny pill. Actually, they cut it in half because I guess the full dosage is too powerful. They start me on Cytotec, and I'm supposed to take that tiny pill, I think once every 2 hours. I'm not sure, but it's 4 pills, and I take it for a duration of like 8 hours. Like after I'm done with like the 4th dosage, like nothing really happened. I didn't dilate. I was still at 1 centimeter, and I didn't really have any contractions. So I'm like, okay, this is easy. I can handle being in labor, please. So after my last dosage of Cytotec, they transfer me to my official labor and delivery room. And as my boyfriend is wheeling me into the room, I'm like, this is really happening. I'm really about to have a baby. Like, there's no turning back, right? So he's wheeling me into the room. I see the little incubator thing that they're gonna put the baby in when he comes out. I see my, you know, bed, and there's like these big huge lights above it. They're not lit or anything, but there's these big huge lights above my bed that, you know, they'll turn on when I'm getting ready to push and all this. And I'm just like, wow, Brittany, what did you get yourself into? I get into my bed, and then after like about an hour, my nurse comes in, and she's like, my OB directed her or instructed her to start me on Cervidil. And Cervidil is, well, what she told me is this like tampon like form of medicine that is supposed to induce labor. And she said that the contractions with Cervidil would be much more powerful than what they were on the little tiny pill. And I'm like, so are they gonna hurt or anything? And she was like, they may be a little strong, but we'll see. She starts me on Cervidil, and as she started me on that, my mom and my grandma came in the door. I was like, oh, thank you. I mean, my boyfriend is, you know, the best. I love him, whatever, but I can't do anything without my mom and my grandma, and they like meant the world to me. So they're in there, and you know, I'm talking or whatever. Hours pass by. This is well into like midnight or like early in the morning. I'm talking to them or whatever, and the contractions start. Oh my goodness. And you know, at first they felt like regular like period cramps, but then they started getting more powerful, and it got to the point where they were hurting so bad. My boyfriend came to sit next to me, and I would squeeze his hand every time I felt one. And I'm like, this cannot be real. Like, are they going to get worse than this? And when you're in your labor and delivery room, right next to you, like there's a monitor. Like, you're hooked up to all these different machines, right? So there's this monitor that shows you when a contraction is about to happen. And my boyfriend would see literally when every contraction was about to happen, and he would be like, oh, Brittany, one's about to come, one's about to start. And I'm like, just great. I just had one. Like, they were coming back to back. And I would say a contraction feels like a period cramp times 1,000. And you know, like before when I was like 4 months pregnant and 5 months pregnant, I would always be like, contractions aren't that bad. They can't be that bad. I've had really bad period cramps before. Please, they are horrible. So yeah, he's telling me when each contraction is about to come. I'm going through it, okay? And you know, this well into the next day. But they aren't intolerable. Like, I can tolerate them, but it's not to where like I'm like on my knees crying just yet. And I don't start the really bad, like the painful contractions don't really start until the next day, like that afternoon. And that's when my OB comes in and he's talking to me and he checks to see if I'm dilated. I have only, on Cervidil, I only dilated about 3 centimeters, and I was like, wow, this is gonna be a long process. So he's like, okay, Brittany, we're gonna take the Cervidil out. Huge sigh of relief. Okay, he takes it out. I don't really have that bad of contractions like how I had when it was inside me, but then he's like, okay, we're gonna give you a break. I'm gonna give you a break. You can eat, which another thing, you cannot eat anything while you're in labor, which is the worst. The only thing you can eat is like anything like clear, like, so I was filling up on red Jello, ginger ale, and water the entire, oh, and popsicles the entire time. I was miserable. Okay, I was so hungry. So he takes the little Cervidil tampon thing out of me. I eat lunch, and then he's like, okay, when I come back, we're going to start you, or actually I'm going to give you about 2 to 3 hours, and then we're going to start you on Pitocin. And Pitocin is, in my opinion, the strongest of them all. Okay, and he's like, but you know, your nurse is going to come in and she's going to talk to you about your epidural, if you want to get one or not, but I will advise you that Pitocin is strong and you might want to get the epidural. So in my head, I'm like, dang, I didn't want to cop out and get the epidural. I wanted to be strong and be able to brag and say I didn't get an epidural. But when he told me that the contractions on Pitocin were 10 times worse than Cervidil, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get it. So this is like the 14th, like that evening, the evening of the 14th, okay, and which was a Saturday, and my nurse comes in and she's like, we're gonna go ahead and put in the order for your epidural. So I'm like, okay, and that's when the anesthesiologist comes in, who's going to give me my epidural, and her nurse comes in who will, you know, prep me and everything. And by this time, I'm shaking, and I don't know if you guys know or not, but one of the, I guess, symptoms or signs of labor is constant shaking. Like, it's like you have chills, and you don't even have to be like freezing cold, like you're just shaking like this, right? So I'm shaking, and she's like, the nurse is like, Brittany, you're gonna have to stop, because if you're moving while you get the epidural, you know, can possibly become paralyzed. So I'm like, just great God, please be with me, because I cannot stop shaking. I'm nervous as heck. Like, this cannot be real. So the nurse comes to me and she's like, Brittany, stop shaking. You have to stop, you know, or we can't give you this epidural. So I don't know what hits me, but I stopped shaking out of nowhere. And, you know, they prep me for the epidural. I'm scared. Like, I'm looking at my mom, because I chose for my mom to stay in, because you're only given like one person to stay in the room while you get the epidural. So I obviously chose my mom because she's been through it 3 times. So I'm looking at my mom like, Mommy, I'm so scared. She's coaching me through the whole thing. And then next thing I know, I've gotten the epidural in my back, and they, you know, adjust me to where I was back to laying down in the bed. And then like within not even 30 minutes, the epidural kicks in and everything becomes numb. Everything becomes cloudy. I'm thinking God's about to call me home. Like, it just felt so awkward, but I didn't feel any more contractions. So I was like, okay, you know, so that the epidural sets in, and I finally can sleep, because the whole time I was in labor, I couldn't sleep because of the contractions and how frequent they were and how bad they hurt. So I finally am able to sleep, and when I wake up the next morning, my OB comes in and he's like, Brittany, you know, because he checks to see if I'm dilated. He's like, Brittany, you've already dilated to about 6 centimeters. Like, you're having this baby today. I'm freaking out when he says this. So, you know, and he says that I think you dilate about 1 centimeter every, I want to say every hour. If not every hour, every 2 hours. I may be wrong. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But he's like, within the next few hours, you're going to have this baby. So I'm like, okay, no turning back now. And I want to say 2 p.m. on the 15th, he comes in and he sees that I'm 10 centimeters, because you dilate to 10 centimeters. And once you get to 10, it's, you know, go time. So he sees that I'm 10 centimeters dilated, and the baby has already gotten into the birth canal, and basically he can see the baby's head. So he says, okay, Brittany, I'm gonna go put on my scrubs. Well, he was in like regular clothes. He was like, I'm gonna go put on or get dressed, and I'm gonna get my nurse, and you're gonna have this baby. I'm freaking out. I'm crying to my mom, and I'm scared. I am scared, okay? I'm a big baby, first of all. So when he told me this, I didn't know what to do. So he comes back in with his nurse. He adjusts the bed. Like, the bed went from being like horizontal to being propped up to look like a chair. It was so cool. But anyway, he puts up the little stirrup things. I'm like, my legs are wide open in front of everybody who's in there, because my boyfriend's in there, the doctor's in there, the nurse, my mom, my grandma, and my boyfriend's mom. We're all in there, and they're all like calming me down because I'm freaking out, of course. And he's like, okay, Brittany, so once the contraction starts, I'm gonna tell you to push, okay? And you know, they're all coaching me. So I pushed for literally, starting from 3 o'clock, I pushed for about 30 minutes. And it seemed like longer, but it was only 30. But anyway, I pushed for about 30 minutes, and boom, my baby pops out, okay? And you know, he comes out of me, and instantly, as soon as he comes out, like, it feels like you're like having like a bowel movement when the baby comes out. It's so weird because you're numb down there, first of all, from the epidural. But as soon as you know, the baby comes out, it's like you let out like a big huge bowel movement. I know it's nasty, but that's how it feels. So he comes out, and I see this big huge like pale baby in front of me, and I'm like in a state of shock. Like, I didn't even cry when he was born, but I was just like the entire all my pictures I look crazy in, like, because I'm just like in a daze the entire time, like looking at him, because I was just so shocked. But I look at him, and you know, of course he's crying, and he's this big pale baby. And you know, I instantly, after they like clean him off, I hold him and everything, and that's when I start crying, because it all just hit me, like, this baby is no longer in me anymore, like, he's right in front of me. So yeah, he was born April 15th at 3:32 in the afternoon, and he was 6 pounds 9 ounces and 19 inches long, I think. So he was very, very, very tiny, which thank God, because I am very small and I would not have been able to push out an 8-pound baby, okay? After he's taken out of me and the placenta is out, they pump me out, and they pump out all this extra blood and stuff like that that was in my, I guess, uterus, I'm not sure. And then they prep me, and then the doctor sews my vagina back up. I know, TMI, right? I only had a 1st-degree tear, which was, I only tore like a little bit my vagina, but I know girls who've torn from their vagina to their butt, which is like a 4th-degree tear. I thank God I didn't have that. But after he stitches me up, and then they put this like adult diaper on me with this like ice pad. It was very awkward, like it was the worst, okay? But yeah, they put that on me, and I'm bleeding for total, it was, I bled for about 2 weeks. After I left the hospital, like the heavy flow stopped, I want to say like after maybe 4 or 5 days, and then I had like period like bleeding up until about 2 weeks after I gave birth. But yeah, it was definitely an experience. I want to say that was probably my least favorite part about the whole pregnancy, because of how long I was in labor. I was literally at the hospital from Friday to Monday, because I checked in Friday, I had him Sunday, and you have to stay an extra day. So I left I think Monday, or I left Tuesday. Actually, I was in the hospital from Friday to Tuesday. The worst. I've never been in the hospital before, so that was just awful and awkward. So yeah, that was probably, like, labor and delivery was my least favorite part of the pregnancy. I had an easy pregnancy the entire 10 months. It was fun. I enjoyed eating like a pig and a hog and everything. But yeah, that was probably my least favorite experience. But I would definitely do it again for him. He is the most beautiful baby I've ever seen, and I'm not just saying that because I had him. He's very, very, very pale, which I think that's from my side of the family. As far as like weight gain and all that and losing it and whatnot, I do breastfeed, so that helps with me losing weight and whatnot. Total throughout my whole pregnancy, I want to say I gained about like 45-50 pounds, which is hard to believe because I'm only 5'1", right? But I gained about like 50 pounds, and so far I've lost about 30 of that, because I started out in the like about 123, 125, so, and then by the end of my pregnancy I think I was like 165. No, about 170, because when you're in labor they pump a lot of IV fluids in you, so I think I was about like 170. But right now I'm 139, so I have a long way to go still, but you know, I'm embracing this journey because I did, you know, something that a lot of people can't do, which is, you know, have a baby and push him out. So I'm embracing it. I'm not, you know, in any pressure, any stress or anything like that to snap back or what have you. But yeah, I'm definitely exercising every day, and I'm watching my intake. And as far as diet goes, you have to eat, you know, enough to produce breast milk. So I'm not limiting myself with that, but I am watching what I eat, and it's not as many like bad carbs, because you know, you do need like good carbs in order to produce a lot of breast milk for the baby. But I'm watching that as well. So every week I lose about like maybe 5 to 8 pounds. So I mean, by the end of the summer I'm more than likely will be back to my pre-pregnancy weight, but no rush with that. And yeah, that's all I can think like about, like as far as like my labor and delivery and baby things like that. But if you guys have any other questions or anything like that, just let me know in the comments down below, or you can, you know, hit me up on Instagram, anything like that. I will be back to producing fashion content. I will. It is very hard to function with a newborn because you want to give him all the attention, but you also want to do things that you love as well, which I am, you know, slowly going to get back into. But right now I just want to give him all my attention. You know, he's the cutest little baby ever, and yeah, so I will slowly get back into producing fashion content, which I do love. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, if you want more Q&A videos or anything like that, just let me know. But other than that, definitely subscribe to my channel, like and comment, and yeah, thank you for watching.